All right, you guys, we are on site of a commercial property today. We're going to be doing a commercial cleaning, and we're going to walk you guys through everything that's included with a commercial property cleaning, all the things you need to look out for, what we do when we arrive on site, everything in between. I got Jacob here with me. So Jacob, start us out, man. What's the first thing we do? We roll up to a commercial building like this.
So the first thing we did whenever we got here is we did a walk around, kind of check everything out, make sure all the stucco is in place where it needs to be and the building's intact. Watch for any areas that don't need to be sprayed with water, being that they might get water inside or cause water damage. So that's the first thing we typically look for. And then we hook the water up, get the tanks filling up, because if something's wrong with the actual building and we're unable to wash it, then there's no point in unrolling any hoses. We're just going to call our contact for the building and see what they want us to do from there.
All right, you guys, so as you can see, we got the water going right now. We're filling up both the tanks. Now we're going to do kind of a property walk around with you guys, kind of take a look at some of the things that need to be noted before we start the job. Now, one thing to note on this particular property, it looks like a new building that was recently built, and they're just doing a cleanup before they actually open the property, which is, you know, in some cases we get these post-construction cleanups. But Jacob, let's kind of walk through and take a look at, you know, anything that could potentially be a problem as we're cleaning this property.
Yeah, so as far as what we're, like our scope of work for this job, we're going to be doing these sidewalks. These sidewalks look like they may have been here a while. The building doesn't look like it's been here very long at all. So we're going to do the sidewalks and the building. It mostly is probably going to be some soffit work. I know there's some wand work on the brick in the front that we're going to have to take care of. But it looks like for the most part, it's going to be just windows and soffit that we're going to be directing most of our attention to on this job.
Right. Another good thing is when you pull up on site, you really kind of want to get a plan of attack. So as you're kind of doing this walk around the property, making sure that all the electrical outlets are covered, you know, if we have any cameras, we want to take note of those. You kind of get a plan of attack going. So as Jacob said, there's not a ton to clean on this building. Obviously, we're going to rinse the windows good. We're going to rinse off, we're going to wash off any of the brick at the bottom. And then, of course, we're going to get on the surface cleaning on the front. So plan of attack is always a good way to go at the beginning of the job, and then obviously looking through anything that could be messed up. So Jacob, as far as the electrical in this building goes, you know, the cameras or any of these lights, are they a worry at all or a concern?
No, these are outdoor cameras. We know just from, because we deal with them all the time. As far as like the electrical goes, that outlet was just now open. The cover was open. It wasn't snapped in all the way, so it wasn't sealed properly. And you can see there's some dirty marks right here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not. If we were to use a wand right there, all the water that's thrown up onto the outlet could get water inside the outlet, and that's what we want to prevent. Those covers are supposed to prevent that. They're supposed to be sealed inside as long as they're closed. I just closed that one. If it wasn't covered and we didn't tape it and something happened, then it would be on us. But since it is covered, it's on whoever owns this building or whoever did the electrical if something happens.
Right. So obviously with newer properties, there's, you know, less concern for things to be messed up, because usually they're built, you know, like Jacob said, for outdoor cameras to have the weathering. Obviously, you know, we want to check all the electrical boxes, make sure that, you know, nothing with that is going to be of concern. I mean, other than that, Jacob, this is seems like a pretty straightforward job, huh?
Yeah, and as far as like the panels and stuff, I recommend don't ever spray anywhere directly around the panels, because water going behind the panels, you don't know if there's a hole back there. Maybe the electrician messed up, drilled a hole back there in the wrong spot. Water can get in, and all that is breakers in most of those panels. I recommend don't spray any water directly on panels, whether it be residential or commercial jobs.
And as far as, are you talking about these, Jacob? Like the soffits with the holes in them?
Soffits in the fascia. Once we spray them with chemical, they may clean up a little bit, but for the most part, it looks like it's just going to be rinsing off cobwebs or spider nests. And then again, on the front side of the building, the brick. The front side of the building is the south side of the building, where we're located at. Typically the north side of any job that we ever do, whether it be a roof wash house, commercial job, whatever. The north side is normally a lot cleaner and doesn't require as much attention as the south side of whatever that job is, due to the amount of sunlight that the north side gets versus what the south side gets.
Okay, sweet. So before we actually start washing on this property, Jacob, two more questions. First question, where did this property come from? What lead source brought it in?
So this came from one of our Google ads that we're running, and the guy called, said that he needed his sidewalks cleaned and the actual building cleaned at this location. So we were actually getting ready to go on military orders, but we sent him over a quote before we left, and he was kind enough to wait on us to get off of orders.
Absolutely. So if you guys need help learning how to land jobs with Google Ads, check out the local domination course. Me and Jacob are actually running ads for a few people right now. So if you guys want us to implement the exact systems that we've utilized in order to land jobs like this, obviously it's a smaller commercial property, nonetheless though. We'll leave a link down below for you guys to apply for us to run your Google ads. Next, Jacob, I kind of want to talk about how this job was quoted. Kale was kind of talking me through, how we quoted this one. Obviously, it was a remote quote, and whenever you quote that way, some problems could technically arise, but it looks like we quoted this one pretty good, huh?
Yeah, this one was pretty straightforward as far as the quote. There's no trees or anything to get in the way of our vision looking on a map view to be able to measure out the actual perimeter of the building or the sidewalks. Typically we'll route out to all of our commercial jobs just so we can meet with them, and it kind of gives us a leg up. Residential, not so much. We'll typically just quote those from Quote IQ and just send that over to the customer. Yesterday I did route out to a commercial facility. It was a hospital that came through on Google through one of our ads, and that ended up being about a $20,000 estimate. So we're still waiting to hear back from that.
Right. Another good thing is the customer actually sent us over some pictures of this property, so it made it super easy. We kind of get the lay of the land. Now, with regards to that hospital cleaning that, hopefully we land, that's something that you definitely want to go out in person. Make a good impression on whoever it is that's kind of overseeing that project. Last thing I'm kind of noticing here, Jacob, is we got some holes right up here, so that's something that we probably are going to want to take note of, just within this brick mortar right here. Just, in case anybody ever raises any question about it. But it seems like, everywhere else the brick mortar's fine. A couple spots right here and over there. So we'll be sure to take a picture of that. But other than that, Jacob, anything else we want to take note of on this property?
As far as the holes in the brick, that kind of put something in my head to talk about the holes in the soffit real quick. The holes in the soffit, you have to spray up under or up behind this lip. It's on the back side of the fascia board, but it hangs over the bottom of the soffit. Whenever we spray those, we typically try to spray at an angle, because if you're spraying directly up, that does lead to the attic of the building, and all you're going to do is put water in the actual building. So spraying from an angle will kind of mitigate that. I can't guarantee that it's going to prevent from actually getting water in the attic of the building, but it would definitely help mitigate that. So that's something to be aware of also, whether you're doing a house or a commercial building like this one.
All right, you guys, so we're wrapping up this job now. A couple things that I think we forgot to mention earlier on in the video. First and foremost was making sure to rinse the windows properly. In any instance where you're using SH, and you don't rinse the windows properly, you will be getting a call back. And the other thing, Jacob, was the dirt daubers, in essence, setting expectations with the customer. So you want to talk us through both of those things?
Yeah, so as far as the dirt daubers go, where we're from, the clay is real thick. A lot of times, especially on like stucco or hardy plank, surfaces like that, if it's been there a while, it actually stain into the paint. We're sure to tell every customer that, the dirt dauber's actual nest will come off almost completely. If not completely, then there may be a stain left on the actual paint. And most customers are all right with it as long as you let them know before you start the actual job. That way they're aware of it whenever they walk outside or they come actually do a walk around with you after you complete the job, that those are there and they see them, so they already know about them and what's going on with them and why they didn't completely come off.
Right, and if you guys missed a previous video we did, a good tool to have on the truck in the instance of a dirt dauber is those brushes. Anytime you have a spot that's kind of giving you a hard time, hit it with the brush. It just helps a little bit. You can always put a little SH on the end of it as well, kind of like we did in that video. But Jacob, maybe let's take a look at the windows. I know you'd mentioned something about the metal frames as well.
Yeah, so a lot of commercial facilities, they have these metal aluminum frames around them, around the window panes. So if SH gets on that and you're spraying a hot mix, especially if you're doing like a roof wash on a commercial facility or something like that, and a hot mix of SH actually gets on this, it will leave streaks. Almost like whenever you go into a commercial facility and they got the metal around the doors, the actual door frames is the same material. So you want to be cautious of that. Make sure you're pre-wetting all of these metal frames before you actually spray chemical, and then make sure you rinse them off real good after the chemical is applied, before you actually do the building wash. So we'll go around a lot of times if we're running a hot mix, doing a roof wash or something like that. Really didn't have to worry about it too much with this because we were only running about a 1%. But a lot of times we'll go around the entire building, pre-wet all these metal frames, and then come back behind that and spray actual SH on the roof, or if we're having to use a hot mix for something else like brick or anything like that. So they do have these in black. We have seen them in actual aluminum color that aren't painted. So if it gets on the actual aluminum color, then they'll turn to a brown almost. And if they get on this, it'll just turn to like a more dark black if it stays on there too long. And you'll see the spots or the drips or however it decides to fall off of the frame.
Right. Now, Jacob, whenever we finish up a residential property, we always try to walk the property with the homeowner if they're there. That way we can kind of get any, any feedback from them that we need in order to complete the job. Are we going to walk the property with this business owner? What's kind of the rule of thumb with regards to, walking properties after they're done as far as commercial goes?
So I know on a bunch of our commercial facilities that we do, I know like we got hospital contracts, and every facility that we do with them, we're actually subcontracted under another contractor that's hired directly by Our Lady of the Lake, which is the company, the hospital company. We'll do a walk around with our contractor. But in this case, he wasn't here whenever we first got here. We weren't sure if he was going to show up or not before we left. In that case, if they're not there, we would just tell him, make sure he does a good walk around. If he's happy with everything, great. We're going to send him over the invoice through 𝐃𝐨𝐦𝐢𝐧𝐚. And if he's not happy with something or we missed something, then we'll gladly come back out and hit it and satisfy the customer.
Right. On a lot of those larger commercial jobs, another thing that we kind of do is make sure to take before and after pics, because I know for that contractor that contracts out, a lot of those big hospital jobs to us, they like to have the before and after pics for documentation and things like that. That's another reason why we like to film these jobs as well, so we have the documentation. So just a couple things, either walk it with them if they're there, and if they're not, before and after pictures always do a good job of telling the story.
Right, or you can call them before you leave, let them know you're finishing up, and if they can be there within about 5 or 10 minutes. This job's about an hour away from our actual shop, so it would probably behoove us if he wasn't here, if he was 5 minutes up the road, just wait 5 minutes, do a walk around. That way we don't have to make a second trip out here if there was something we missed or something that he wasn't happy with.
Absolutely. So there's one last thing we want to mention to you guys before we wrap this video, and that is anytime you get onto a commercial job site, for whatever reason you're called out, you always want to be looking for upsells. So we noticed that the parking lot on this particular property probably could use a restripe. So we will be making the owner aware of that and the fact that we offer that service. So it's always important just to look for those upsells and to offer them whenever you're on a commercial property, so that way you can raise your average ticket price. Jacob, anything else we want to mention on this job?
I think that's about it. We got everything cleaned up. We're gonna finish hitting this little piece of the sidewalk right here and this curb, and then rinse everything off. We'll talk to the owner of the building, do a walk around with him. If he's happy with everything, then we're good to go. If we miss something, obviously we'll hit it again real quick, and then we'll be good to go.
Jacob, every video needs a word of the day. What do you want the word of the day to be?
Oh damn, you're gonna have to cut this part out. What did I tell you the other day? What did I say it was?
I don't even remember, bro.
Oh man.
It could be commercial.
Commercial upsell.
Commercial upsell. If you guys made this far of the video, comment down below commercial upsell. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, hustle hard, get that money, baby.